She also is the current Alberta provincial mixed double silver medalist. Her and Ryan Parent went to the final there and lost to Amanda and Aaron Zlaczynski this year. It looks like early on, Team Booth, they're trying to play a little bit defensive here. Wouldn't you say, Rhett?
Yeah, that peel right there just shows it. It's the first end, so they're not going to want to get into too much trouble here. So just try to keep it clean and get settled in, like I said.
Yeah, you bet. Now throwing is Tori Hartwell from Team Hartwell. This is actually Michelle Hartwell's daughter, so a mother-daughter duo on the ice, both very accomplished curlers. I would know I did lose a Alberta Winter Games final to Tori Hartwell, so I know that all too well for this young curler here. This is her first Alberta Women's Scotties, and or I guess not Scotties, provincial championship here, and they're looking to kind of just play defensive as well. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Both teams, like I said, it's that first draw, so they just want to kind of settle in and get comfortable. Um, nothing too crazy at the first end.
Yeah, it looks like they're just trying to kind of get their legs. There's not much going on, so it's just kind of hitting back and forth and seeing what can happen. It looks like we might have a double attempt here, and right now from our second thrower on Team Booth, that is Sydney Libis. Sydney Libis looking to make the double. She is really close here, and looks like she will have it there. It's just got to go, and it goes. That's great. Great shot from Sydney. All right. So, Rhett, keys to the game, like you said, you try. This is your first game, right? You obviously, if you move on, you play the number one seed Skrillex. So, how would you approach this game? I guess.
Well, it's like again, you're just trying to relax those nerves. Um, you're finding ways to learn the ice and to learn the speeds, and you just don't want to get into anything too crazy. You're going to take this as an opportunity to learn more about the ice for when they go and play Skrillex, but for the most part, I think, as I keep repeating myself, it's mostly to relax those nerves and get comfortable here at the provincials.
Yeah, you bet. And you know what? These events wouldn't be possible without the support of the local host community in Rimbey. Thank you to the local sponsors in Rimbey for supporting the championship, which include our diamond sponsors, Tourmaline, Tech, Rinaldi and Sons Contracting Ltd, and yeah, they've just been outstanding in supporting such a great event, and it already looks like kind of a full house out there in Rimbey. So this has been a well-anticipated event, I know. So a lot of people are excited to get going and see some really good curling just like us. So that's really great. It looks like Team Hartwell is making a little bit of a play here into the house. So it looks like they're going to draw, take a little bit more of an aggressive stand. They're on to the third stone thrower, I guess, for Team Hartwell, which is Lisa Miller. This is her, I believe it's her first provincial championship at the women's side. It doesn't say that she's attended another one here on my little cheat sheet, but yeah, it looks like the draw attempt is really good here. They're looking to carve it in, try and get it as close as possible. It looks like it's going to come up a little short though. So a little bit of a switch up in strategy there. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, I didn't mind the call because really you can't hurt yourself there. After a bunch of hits there, the Yellowstone was above the house, and it puts a little pressure onto Team Booth here.
Yeah, you bet. And just for a reminder for viewers, Team Hartwell is the team in white and blue, and they are throwing the red stones. And Team Claire Booth, they are the team in the black jerseys as well, or the black jackets as well. And they are throwing the yellow stones, and they have the last stone in this first end. So Jamie Scott, their third stone thrower there, and she makes quick work of those two guards there. It looks like Sophie Brissett there, or no, Sydney Libis is just going to take the rock back there, and she does so successfully. So that's really great. Jamie Scott is no stranger to great curling in Alberta. She's a well-accomplished curler, came from the U of A program, I know. And yeah, it looks like she kind of adds that experience to this Booth team, this very young Booth team. So um, that would be probably something to take note as well. That's the other thing, Rhett, is we've got an experienced skip in Michelle Hartwell, where she's been to a few Scotties, right? Or I guess not Scotties, championships, provincial championships here in Alberta. And Claire Booth, this is her first women's provincials here as well. And what's it called? You might say that Hartwell has kind of an advantage with knowing how to play these games.
Yeah, and that's just it. There's nothing that beats experience to be in the situations and to feel the energy of being at a provincials. There's nothing like it. Um, Now there's no lack of talent on either team, but that experience might be a little bit of the difference that helps them in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And Team Booth as well, extremely accomplished at the junior level themselves. Claire Booth as well, she's been to what's it called, numerous junior Canadian junior championships, and I believe is the recent bronze medalist from last year. So with the UFC Calgary Dinos team, so that was a really good strong showing for them. So she knows how to be in these games as well. Definitely been well experienced as well. So it looks like it's a straight hit and stick attempt for Claire on her first. And let's see what she can do with this. Looks like the sweepers are taking it, and it looks like it's going to be a nice, easy clean for them at the end. Nice hit and stick. Michelle Hartwell going to have to try and hit and stick herself to just kind of force Claire to throw her last, right, Rhett?
Yes, no, it's very important that Claire hit and stuck there because it gives it makes Michelle have to hit that rock, and they're going to be pretty safe going into that last stone.
Yeah, you bet. I think Claire's going to do a very good job of trying to eliminate that rock early on. They want to try and carry that hammer forward to the second end there. This is a 10 end game, so we've got a lot of ends to play. So I think that's a big reason in why these teams are being a little bit more defensive now, not being as aggressive to the pin right now and trying to score just because they've got so much time left. Michelle Hartwell, it looks like it's a hair inside. Sweepers are going. Her daughter, Tori Hartwell, trying to hold it, and she will. That's a great shot. Great sweep from Tori Hartwell there. That's going to be a nice hit and stick for their team to finish off their end, and it looks like Claire Booth will just try and kind of take this one out. Would you think you'd have to throw a lot of weight at this, Rhett, or do you think you'd play a little bit of softer weight here, just because it is so far back?
Personally, I tend in these shots to throw a little more weight. It just takes curl out of the factor, and especially that first end ice. You never know what it's going to do. But a lot of teams you will see will throw maybe closer to a 9, just to keep the sweepers into the shot. Because the thing about throwing that big weight is if you don't throw it well, there's not much to save it.
Yeah, you bet. It looks like they're going to throw a little bit of weight here from Team Booth as well. And they're just trying to get the roll out here. And it looks like it curled a little bit. So they tried to go across the face, doesn't quite get it. So they'll take their one and get forced here by Team Hartwell. So that's a good early sign for Team Hartwell. They've got their force, and now they take the hammer into the second end. All right. Now, as the teams kind of discuss, a little moment to bring up our sponsors as well. We'd like to thank our platinum sponsors as well, the Rimbey Lions Club, the town of Rimbey, and the cooperators, the Quality Inn and Suites in Rimbey, Rimbey Implements, Ponoka County, and Little Guy Incorporated Oilfield Rentals. Thank you all for your amazing support, because without you, this championship wouldn't be possible. So, moving on into end number 2 here, what do you think you might see here, Rhett, from the two teams?
Well, now after the first end, their nerves are down and they're kind of settled in here, so you might see a little more aggressive play. But like we said, this is a 10 end game, so there's lots of time. So we might just see kind of the same thing come in and keep it simple.
Yeah, definitely seems like it. Now, I'm not sure. It looks like that team Booth, they might be going for that center line guard. I could be mistaken. They could be trying to go in here if they're being a little aggressive. I missed the call there, Rhett, but did you see that last call?
I think she tapped top four there. So once again, they're just going to come into the rings and try to keep things simple.
Yeah, you bet. And lead Sophie Brissett, she is going to try and do just that. So here's the first shot of the end. 1-4 Booth in the first end. So it's a 1-2-0 game right now for Claire Booth. And if you're curious on what the other games are going on for the viewers at home, just go to Curling Alberta's website and the scores are available there. So curlingalberta.ca /scores. They should be all there for you. And here Michelle Hartwell goes. She's starting to play a little more aggressive. This is a little bit more of an aggressive call. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, which I'm a little surprised. Like I said, it's you might see a little bit more aggressive play, but it's a 10-end game, so I expected maybe the teams to play it a little safe. But with that yellow rock coming deep in the house, it gives Michelle a good chance to get a corner up, and we're gonna have a good end ahead of us.
Yeah, you bet. And the other games going on in the ice, we have on sheet A, we have Team Hannah Phillips versus Team Elliot Martins, as well as on sheet C, we have Team Nikki Kaufman versus Janae DeJong, as well as on sheet D, we have Team Keely Duncan, the UFC Dinos team this year, as well versus Team Kaylee Shannon. So we have a lot of junior teams in this field. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, looking through the field, I was quite excited to see. I believe there's 4 junior teams, which is amazing to see these young players come up and play at such a high level.
Yeah, you bet. The junior pipeline in Alberta for the women's side is just exceptional. You've got teams like Keely Duncan, Kaylee Shannon, as well as you've got Team Graceland Richards, Team Mila Plett, who are both awaiting their next opponents. They're higher ranked seeds in this event too. And that's the other thing. These are, what's it called? Very experienced, teams, right?
Yeah, the you can't take the credit away from them from being young. They have just as much experience as any other team here, and it's going to be a very exciting week of curling.
Yeah, you bet. Team Hartwell here, they're looking to take a hit and get the double, and Michelle Hartwell sweeping this one right out, and Ashley Kalk, she does quick work of that, gets the double, sticks the shooter. That's what you call lead strength there. When you have a lead that can not only draw and make guards and stuff like that, but hit and make a key double there when Team Booth is putting some pressure on, it might be very helpful for you. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, one thing I also want to point out is you watch as she was sweeping the stone out, Michelle waited till it was out of the rings, but then stopped, because that back Yellowstone could be used kind of as a catcher late in the end, so it's something Team Booth's going to have to watch out for.
Definitely. Team Booth just hitting and sticking there. And it looks like Tori Hartwell's now going to throw for Team Hartwell. Let's see what the call is. It's just going to be, I think, a hit and roll, right, Rhett?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, the hit and roll, that will be the shot called. Ashley Kalk trying to work this back over. It's coming over now. It looks like it might just hit and roll out, though. So gets the yellow, but rolls out. Now, if you're Team Booth, Rhett, what would your next shot be here now?
Well, as you can see, she's looking like she's going up for appeal, and I like it. It's early ends, and you have time, not to mention that it's early in the game, so you don't want to get too dicey. So I like the call they're making here, kind of keeping things a little simple like they would have liked at the start of the end.
Yeah, you bet. And taking a look back at the team lineups, let's take a look at our coaches. So for the Booth team, it is a well-known ice maker and coach as well, Mike Libis. He's a fantastic curler, coach, ice maker. He pretty much does it all. So well-known Curling Alberta member there, coaching his daughter, Sydney Libis, and her team. And we've got as alternate for Team Booth Morgan Muse, who was the what's it called, Team Alberta at one point. So really cool to see all this like mentorship, I guess, that you would see on Team Booth through experience coaching of Mike and player experience from Morgan, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing we talked about Michelle's team having experience, but there's no lack of experience on Claire's team either, whether it be through the coaching or the alternate. They're not a team you can count out, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. A high-ranked team coming into this field. They did very well and qualified out of the Jasper Place qualifier that was hosted this year. Um, and looking at the Hartwell team, their coach Jim Weber, very experienced coach as well, and Erica Wise is their alternate. So it's going to be a really good game. We've got two ends almost completed here now. We're in the halfway mark of our second end, and we're just waiting to see if Team Booth can kind of stick this shooter and kind of sit it on the side. But and they get kind of a wick off the top yellow. Hey, Rhett.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where you say, "Oh, sorry," but um, you take anything you can get.
Yeah, you take it for sure. That's a maybe not intended shot like that, not intended like that, but nonetheless a great shot from Jamie Scott of Team Booth. Here comes Lisa Miller, the third for Team Hartwell. She's just trying to hit and stick this shooter, I believe. And it looks like they're going to roll it a bit to the middle. Just a little hit and flop. So Claire Booth wanting to kind of get back to the middle as she doesn't have the hammer. So I think the big thing is you want to play in the middle if you're Team Booth because you don't want to give your opponents any opportunity to generate, right? Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. The closer you are to the middle, the more open it is, and it gives you more options. It's early ends. You don't want to give the other team too many options just yet.
Yeah, you bet. All right, and it looks like a nice hit and roll from Team Booth. Even though it's to the side, you've got that yellow catcher there, right? So who knows? Like it's out there. Hartwell, they have to make sure they're getting out to the broom on this side because we could see like rocks take off here early on in the game, right, Rhett?
Yeah, especially this far out. I don't think we've been quite this far out yet, and as you can see, they're down sweeping already, so it might catch a little bit of fresh pebble.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see if we can get a good hit and roll from Team Hartwell, and it does just exactly that. Great shot. And it's setting up for what's looking like another blank opportunity, but this time for Team Hartwell. So as we go into skip stones, Claire's first. She's coming down the ice now to throw. I believe just a little hit and flop. That was the call. So I think they will take it for sure. And it looks like our booth team, they have done a fantastic job in getting us some mics to hear what those players are thinking.
I think, like we said with the prior shot, they just want any roll to the center, take away any chance for Michelle Hartwell to make a move and maybe get them in a tricky situation.
Yeah, you bet. All right, Claire Booth, little inside right now, but getting the little roll. Okay, great sweep from her sweepers to try and hold that rock. Great job from Jamie Scott. See, this is a little bit of a different lineup, I guess you could say. A little bit of an unorthodox lineup from Team Booth because they actually have their second, Sydney Libis, holding broom for Claire. And then their third is actually sweeping. So Jamie Scott, you can see, just swept that rock, and Sydney Libis is holding the broom. What do you think about kind of the swapping of positions? I know we have swap positions on my team, Rhett. What would you think about it, and how do you feel about that?
Well, you know what? We did something similar last year with my team. For the first half of the year, I played second and held the broom, and it was just came down to the fact that sometimes you might have a player that's a really good sweeper, and you want them on those last stones. Or in our case last year, it was I had a lot of experience calling line, so we wanted to have me in the house. So it all comes down to where you can use your strengths and how you can use them to be the best you can.
Yeah, and I think both teams are doing a great job of that. So moving on to our last skip stone, great shot from Michelle Hartwell there, just a simple hit and stick, making sure that Claire has to throw something at that rock. And who knows, maybe you get a break, right? So that would be an opportunity for sure for Michelle. And I think that's why the shot was called. Claire now looking to have a simple hit and stick, have Michelle hit that last. All right, Claire Booth, her shot here, sweeping it now, looking for the little flop the other way towards her guard there. And she gets a little partial flop to the side. It's definitely going to make Michelle's blank attempt a little harder. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, that was really smart on the line caller's perspective there. She seen that they were making good contact on the stone and got them to sweep a little bit to get towards the roll.
Exactly. All right, Michelle Hartwell, last stone in the second end for this A side quarter. Let's see, or I guess A side round of 8.
And like you said, it's a little tricky of a blank here because that guard, that although it's so far over, it is in the eyesight, and you want to make sure that you're getting past it.
You bet. Last stone here, Michelle Hartwell looking to roll out and get a blank herself and completed. Great shot from her. She'll get her blank and take the hammer into the third. All right, so just going around the rink, for those of you who don't know us, my name's Justice Jakes. I am with Rhett Malou. We're your commentators for this feature matchup here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championships presented by Sentinel Storage. We've got a great game here already for you. A little bit of a slower start for both teams just to try and get their legs in this game early, but we've still got lots of time. 8 ends left to play, so looking forward to it. All right, and a shout out to our sponsors there for end number 2. Our gold sponsors at the event who, like I said, couldn't have made this event, or we couldn't have hosted this event without their amazing support. So Fire and Flood, Missing Link Internet, Baytex Energy, CBI Solar, the Rimbey Curling Club, and New County 95.5 and Z 98.9 radio stations. Thank you for your support, because without you, this championship would not be possible. So Sophie Brissett starting us off here on the lead stones. Rhett, do you think it would be a little bit more of a better time just to try and kind of get something going now that it's the third end, you're getting into the, I guess, back half of the first half of your game?
Yeah, no, it'd be a good time to start and put a little pressure onto the other team. Now you know the ice and you're feeling confident. You might not go hard for anything right now, but you're gonna make sure that if the opportunity arises, you're gonna grab it.
Yeah, for sure. And a shout out to where these teams are from as well. Team Hartwell, they represent the Sherwood Park Curling Club, and Team Booth, they represent the Ellerslie Curling Club. So both of these teams are from around the Edmonton area or the Edmonton area. I know Team Booth, they have kind of a team that has players from across the province, right? Whereas Team Hartwell, they mostly all curl out of the Sherwood Park Curling Club. All right. Ashley Kalk, she is looking just to draw, and she sinks a little deep. Goes behind the house there, but one more to go for her to try and get that one back. And here now is an opportunity for Team Booth. Sophie Brissett looking to draw around her centerline guard.
With that red running deep, it kind of gives Team Booth here a little bit of a free opportunity to get set up nice.
You bet. They're getting the curl on it now. Claire calling for curl just to try and see if they can bury any piece of that yellow rock. It looks like they are. They're going to get there. A great shot from Sophie so far. Can show a little bit, so Michelle might be tempted to hit this right now, but you can't see a whole lot of it. So she elects to play the draw out wide. Here's a little bit of a redemption shot for Ashley Kalk. She's looking to make her second there and get her team set up for the next set of rocks. All right, and gets to the side, the edge of the yellow guard there, but didn't quite curl up for the team. Rhett, do you think that would just because it's maybe a fresher path or something like that?
Yeah, a little bit of a fresher path, and the sweepers were on it early, so it might have backed it up just a hair. Really tricky to go from an inside-out shot to coming to the center like that, as usually on arena ice the speeds are a little different. But it's still something that Team Booth's going to have to worry about.
Yeah, you bet. Team Booth, it looks like they were a little inside there on that shot, and they peel their own guard out. That's not a bad outcome, though. Hey, Rhett?
No, it keeps it nice and open. There's not a lot of trouble you can get into now, and although they might have liked to keep it around, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Definitely. Team Hartwell looking to apply the pressure now and put two of their rocks in the house to set up for a possible deuce. Tori Hartwell, daughter of Michelle, the skip, looking to just hit and roll a little bit on that rock. Gets the little roll. Great shot from Tori Hartwell. Well executed, well called. Great team shot there. All right, and a little bit of a around the rink update for you for the game so far. As we are in the third end of our game, Booth leads 1-0 over Hartwell. We have over on sheet A, Hannah Phillips playing Elliot Martins, and Elliot Martins gets one. They had the last own first end there on that sheet, so they're in number 3 as well. Team Kaufman and Team De Jong still at a deadlock at 0 apiece. They've blanked both of their first two ends into the third now. And Keely Duncan getting forced on her first, but steals one in the second. So they're up 2-0 on Team Shannon for the last game on sheet D.
Just
If you're
stuff.
curious. All right, and it looks like Hartwell's going for the split there. Hartwell there really having to drag this one. Lisa Miller doing her best with Ashley Kalk to try and get this one in the house above that yellow rock that's sitting up at the top of the 12-foot. All right, and Team Claire Booth, they are electing to freeze to that red shot there. Or I think I might have missed that call there.
Yeah, I think they're trying just to roll to make sure
Roll
they
and
hit this
sit.
red. Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. All right, Jamie Scott throwing some weight here, trying to get some action on this front red they just threw from Hartwell. And looking for the roll. Doesn't get a lot, but gets the red rock out and that back yellow catcher out there as well. So that's kind of a nice little bonus. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, it's one less rock you're gonna have to worry about. Right now, rocks in the house are kind of helping Michelle's team here. So to catch that one on the way out is one less you have to worry about catching on later in the end.
Yeah, you bet. Lisa Miller, the third for Hartwell, looking to just hit and stick this one. Keep the shooter rock in play on the side. Can split the house there. Great shot from Team Hartwell. They stick that shooter, and it looks like it's second shot over the yellow, so great result for them. Team Booth trying the same thing, hit and roll over to that red shot rock. And it looks like they've got some really good line here and weight. Big roll from Team Booth. Sophie Brissett trying to roll it, gets to the center line. That's a really good outcome for Team Booth because it forces Michelle to have to address that rock, right, Rhett?
Yeah, it's rolling into the center there. It's kind of a troubled stone for Michelle, so she's gonna have to do something about it. And wherever she puts the stone, she's probably gonna leave something for Claire back. So it's a really good roll on Team Booth's side.
You bet. Lisa Miller with her last stone of thirds rocks, trying to hit and roll under that yellow. Michelle calling Tori on. Oh, and it looks like this one's over curling. And it's going to go right by that yellow shooter. So a little bit of a misthrow there from Lisa, but Team Booth having an opportunity to try and maybe play at this red rock that could come back into play here, right, Rhett?
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what they're planning to do here, but they're gonna want to make sure that they do something with this red rock because although you have two yellows sitting there, it's still in a good spot for Team Hartwell. So Claire's just, I think that's enough ice to come down to it. Just gonna come down to it and hopefully make something good for her team.
First shot for Claire Booth in the third end. They don't have hammer, but they are sitting one right now as it sits at the top of the 4-foot. Team Booth calling their sweepers on early. Looks like the rock's curling quite a bit. So it looks like they're going to hit their front rock, but where do they roll? That's the key. And it looks like they roll right to the side, bringing that other yellow, not quite the second shot, but into play. So it definitely makes Michelle's shot harder because they can't just hit and stick, right, Rhett?
Yeah, they have to do something to set up. Basically, they're trying to set up here for Michelle's second shot. Um, both yellows are in pretty good positions for Claire, so I see Michelle kind of setting herself up for a second shot here.
And like I said in end one, we've got a pretty even matchup here with Claire Booth coming in at 76th in Canada and Michelle Hartwell at 57th in Canada. These teams have played a lot this year across the Alberta Tour, and they've both played really well to qualify here for provincials and at the Jasper Place qualifier, both of them, and looking to come in and make a name for themselves again. Michelle going back down to take another look at this. The other option too is trying to hit that other side rock, and I think that's what they're looking at, right, Rhett?
Yeah, it looks like they talked about maybe hitting that side rock and rolling it a little bit, but back to the original call here, which I like because right now that top yellow is probably creating the most problems for her. And if they hit this one on the nose, it's going to make it so it's usable for her next shot.
You bet. Michelle Hartwell with her first here for her team in the third end. Looks like it's over curling. It just second rock that's over curled down that center line. They roll out now, and it looks like Team Booth will have an opportunity to hit that red and sit 3 to put some pressure and a potential force on Michelle. Last shot for Claire Booth here. Rhett, do you think it's safe to say they're probably not going to overcomplicate this one? Make the rock go away.
No, that's your main goal. You already have 2 yellows in the house that are pretty spread out, so you want to make sure that you just make this red go away and force Michelle to take her one.
All right, last shot for Claire Booth right now. They're on it now to try and get that contact for that red rock, and they do. So it'll be a well-executed end for Team Booth. They sit the 3, and Team Hartwell having to hit and stick on their last for a force. Final stone for end number 3, Michelle Hartwell here, looking to hit and stay for their single point. And well executed. It looks like it's close. It looks really close right now. Both thirds are going to take a look to see what rock scored. It might have been 1 yellow there.
Yeah, after 2 over curls down the center line, they might have just overcompensated a little bit, worried about it curling up there in that spot. So we'll have to wait to see where the score goes on the board.
You bet. By the looks of it, our volunteer is just putting up that score right now. And it looks like it's going to be a steal of 1 for Team Booth to go up 2-0 in the fourth. Hartwell with hammer. Now, Rhett, now that we're kind of in between the ends, let's take a look at what's at stake here. So for anyone who is new to the sport or new to our event here, this is the Alberta Women's Provincial Championship with the right to represent Alberta at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. The winning team will get to represent our province along with Team Alberta Sturmey that's already qualified for Thunder Bay. They were originally supposed to play in our event, but after Chelsea Carey's Manitoba rink only had 2 of their original members from their previous season, they couldn't claim the berth. So Sturmey, being the next best on last year's CTRS, moved them to the national pre-qualifier and getting them a spot in the Scotties already. So one Alberta team looking to join them in Thunder Bay.
It's kind of a big advantage for Alberta teams is now that Selena has grabbed that berth into Scotties because there's so many good teams here on the Alberta Tour in the women's side. So one less team is one less team you have to go through to get to that spot at the Scotties.
You bet. And I think that's the big thing a lot of teams are looking at that advantage is it's one less really good team that you have to play to of your dream of playing at the Scotties there. So and representing Alberta. So Alberta, understandably, one of the top performers, usually at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, and um, over the past years especially. So Team Booth, they're looking to just kind of keep the pressure on right now. Team Hartwell, great execution on the what's it called, or the corner guard there. And Sophie Brissett looking to potentially bump this yellow up a little bit. Back eight is what the sweepers are calling. And they'll bump it up a little bit and roll their shooter in. So it gives them some space, Rhett, but it rolls that yellow under that red guard.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a worry for Booth there, because although someone might look at that and say, "Oh, it's undercover, it's good for us," it actually helps Michelle's team here because it gives them a little bit of backing, or almost like a guard behind the rock, as they're going hard for a 2 here, I believe, in this end.
Exactly. It looks like the sweepers are going to go a little bit for weight here. Lisa Miller trying to work this one over now. Doing a very good job of that. Great corner freeze from Team Hartwell. You could have wanted it a little bit farther over there, Rep, but the odds of Team Booth playing with their own yellow as backing there, would you say it's quite high?
Well, it all depends on the confidence of this Booth team. Um, they are going to have to watch out for that yellow in the back, but it does make them have to make a play onto this redstone.
Exactly. Team Booth trying to get their rock back over towards the shot stone. And it'll just pass right by, but looks like just a hair. Would you say over iced or
Um,
overthrown there, Rep?
I think a little bit of both there. With especially arena ice, as soon as you bring up that weight, it tends to straighten out. So maybe they're still learning the ice and a little bit over ice, but I think it's more so on the overthrown side, because we are seeing some good curl here in Rimbey.
Tori Hartwell with her next shot here. Trying to keep the pressure with something generating for Team Hartwell that they're going to try and manufacture into a deuce here or more potentially. Ashley Kalk working this rock over right to the red shooter stone. Great little freeze draw there. Now, Rhett, with that shot, would you say that that yellow rock that was kind of causing problems for Team Booth is kind of less of a worry now just because of how the angles line up?
Yeah, I would say, because that little bit of a bump kind of pushed that yellow to the side there, and now more so that red is always going to come on to that other red, and it should squeak past. So I don't think Booth's going to be too worried about their back yellow now.
Sydney Libis throwing some big weight here, trying to get some action on these red rocks. And they get by. What a sweep. Great sweep from, that was Jamie Scott. Great sweep from her. Makes quick work of those two red stones. One sticks around, but is clearly fourth shot, sorry. So Hartwell just trying to get something back here. Hit and roll back is the call.
Very nice shot by Booth there to sit 1-2-3. It's going to make it hard for Team Hartwell here to generate that deuce.
That's definitely a rock that can come back into play. So really good really good, well thrown rock by Tori Hartwell. Their yellow shot is sitting 1, but that red could come back into play. So Booth is going to try and put the pressure on now. Sitting 1. Rhett, do you like this freeze call here?
Yeah, I do. With this call, you're going to be sitting 1-2, and you kind of put the angles in your favor. Right now, if you come around the outside of that corner guard there, more times than not, that red's going to go onto the yellow and push it through the rings. But if you come to the inside there, not only are you going to be sitting shot, but you give yourself an angle to punch out that red and hopefully keep your back yellow as well.
It looks like Claire Booth is electing to go under the more center front yellow rock to try and put some pressure. She is sitting the 1, so this is the other option you can play. Now, the worry here is if you are sticking out and not the right depth, then they could have an opportunity for Team Hartwell to double. So it looks like they're trying to bury this right under the guard and have a good amount of depth so that there's no double possible. And they do just that. Really well thrown shot and great shot from Jamie Scott. Hartwell thinking on what to do now after Booth is sitting 2.
And that's the nice thing about that shot. Although it's not perfectly, you would have preferred that to be above tee. It does bring the play a little bit away from that corner guard. So it's putting a little bit of pressure here on Team Hartwell to generate that deuce, as they're going to have to start bringing play back over to that corner or do a little bit of housekeeping here and clean up.
Hartwell trying to make some rocks go here. And it looks like great double execution from Lisa Miller, the 3rd for Team Hartwell. Takes care of those 2 yellows. And now you'll start to notice, Rhett, there's a lot of those straggling red rocks around, right?
Yes, it's the one thing in curling that you learn the hard way is the ones that stick around can always come back to bite you. So it's looking like a very red house here.
I always say in junior curling, the first way you know you're learning is if you learn the lesson of the the straggler rocks that kind of catch up on you, I guess, at the end of the end. And it looks like Sophie Brissett is just looking to see if that rock is in play. They'll get the 1, nose hit. Michelle Hartwell now looking to see if she can get that other red back into play. Maybe bump it a little bit. And if they throw soft enough weight, could they maybe potentially stick their shooter in for another shot rock? Now, the one thing you'll notice, Red, is Michelle said it was okay if they bump that red rock into the 4-foot or they nick it, they put it in play because at least it gets that other red completely open so that they can address it.
Yeah, it's a very good thinking on her part, because a lot of teams wouldn't be too happy if they did nick it and bumped it in, but the more reds in play, the happier she's going to be. But it looks like she makes this shot really nice.
Yeah, what a beautiful shot from Lisa Miller there. She Christmas trees that shot. And I mean, the only kicker that you might see would be the flaw for Team Hartwell, is that other red is hanging there on the side. So Booth can throw some weight at this and try and get some red rocks moving. Now, that yellow rock in the back is counting in the rings, but it is a distant 4th shot. So Claire Booth maybe seeing if she can bring that one back into play or at least hit shot rock with this. So And while Team Booth discusses, we'd like to thank our sponsors once again, our local sponsors. They've just done a fantastic job providing everything that's possible with this championship. So thank you to our silver sponsors, which are E360s, Fortis Alberta, GLDC, Evergreen Co-op, the Town of Panoka, Kiera, and Service Credit Union. Now, the out-turn double is the call for Team Booth, as Claire just said. Do you like this shot, Rhett?
I do because you make this double really nice, and you should leave yourself an angle onto the red. I don't think you can ever hurt yourself with this call.
Claire Booth in her first, in the fourth, up 2. Jamie Scott on it now, trying to hold the line. Oh, and nuzzles itself in there. It's going to be a very hard rock to remove for Team Hartwell, but Hartwell is still shot the 1. Now, would you say drawing to the other side is the plan, Rhett?
Yeah, I think drawing to the other side, it ensures you 2. You want to make sure you're scoring here. It'd be nice to score a bunch, but you draw to the other side, it ensures you 2, and it might even bring a 3 into play if you place it perfectly.
Michelle coming down to the throwing end and looking to throw her first stone in the fourth end of our first game, draw 1 of the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championship presented by Sentinel Storage in Rimbey, Alberta. Team Hartwell already starting to sweep this rock. Ashley Kalk just looking to see if she can get that rock buried underneath. It's starting to take off now. Oh, they just tapped the side of that yellow rock, but they'll roll right in there. It was only just a little whiff. Pretty good outcome, would you say, Rhett, for Team Hartwell?
Yeah, it's in a really good position there, and even with the wick, it's something that Claire's going to have to worry about. And I got to give a lot of props to Michelle there. The last few hands, she's been playing a lot of hits. So to kind of go back to what she knows from the pregame practice and to throw a nice draw there, it's not the easiest thing to do after throwing a bunch of hits back to back.
Claire Booth in her last stone for their team in the fourth end here, up 2-0 on Team Hartwell. But Hartwell with the hammer with a potential 2 on the line if Booth successfully hits this rock. Team Booth calling the sweepers on here. Looking to sneak by. Oh, and they just tap their yellow at the top there. So it looks like Hartwell will have the opportunity to draw for 3. She just threw this, so she should know the weight. But an opportunity for 3 for Hartwell in the fourth to get right back into this game and take the lead.
It's one thing both teams are going to have to keep an eye on. There's been a lot of over curls coming off of the center line there. So although you would have liked to make that shot, it's something that you can take and you can learn from for the next end.
Last stone from Michelle Hartwell. Red Rocks. A draw for 3 in the 4th. Sweepers trying to drag this to secure the 3rd point, and they will. Great shot from Team Hartwell. They'll bank 3 on the board and take the lead in this game as we approach our 5th and halfway mark of the game. 5th end of the game. Now going around the rink to a little bit of an update. Hannah Phillips, Elliot Martins, that game is in the 5th end now, and it's a 1-1 game. Very close games all around. Claire Booth and Michelle Hartwell, like I said, Hartwell just scoring a 3 to go up 3-2 on Booth in the 5th. Janae DeJong and Nikki Kaufman are in the 4th end still, but DeJong scoring 1 in the 3rd to lead 1-0 over Kaufman. And Keely Duncan and Kaylee Shannon as well in the 4th end, but Shannon securing 1 point there in the 3rd and getting forced to still trail Team Duncan 2-1. Tickets are available online or at the door with options of purchasing a full event pass, a day pass, or individual draws during the triple knockout and playoffs. To purchase tickets to the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Provincial Championships presented by Sentinel Storage, visit curlingab2025.eventbrite.ca. Some great curling this week already, even though we're just getting started, Rhett.
Yeah, no, it's some great curling to start off the week here. With a big 3 in that last end, they worked hard for it, and it brings the game right back to almost neck and neck.
Claire Booth being a little bit more aggressive here and electing to come around the centerline guard, just thrown by Team Hartwell. Sophie Brissett looking to complete the skipper's request. Sweeper's already going on it. Looks like it's curling now. They'll just nick the top of that centerline guard and roll a hair down. It doesn't go into the house, so it is on the in the guard zone, but not on the center line. So that center line there, it will take the no tick rule away from that rock. So if Hartwell did want to tick that rock for some reason, then they definitely could. Hartwell trying to draw around that center line guard now. Get something going. Capitalizing on the Booth miss. A little wide for Hartwell though. Now, Rhett, would you think that Team Booth just follows them down?
With it being in the back 4, I can see them following them down, but you might even see a little bit of a board weight hit here. It's Team Booth's coming off of just having 3 scored against them, so they might not want to get too crazy here.
They're having a little bit of a discussion about this shot. Could we see our first time out here? No, it looks like Claire's gonna do exactly as we might have thought and draw around. Maybe not follow them down, but draw around. Sophie Brissett on her second rock now, looking to set up her team early in this end. This rock will just slightly over curl. It won't bump that yellow rock at the front of the house into play, but Hartwell looking to apply more pressure and put that red rock at the top of the 8 foot to the 4 foot there.
Yeah, that yellow stone might cause a little bit of trouble for Team Booth there, as before that single yellow in front of the house was about 3/4 open, so it was kind of a usable stone. But after that bump, it kind of takes away any run back opportunity for the Booth team.
And we'd like to thank our bronze sponsors for this event: ATB Financial, Diamond Liquor, Rimbey Kinsman, MNPLLP, Raise Esso, and Sears, 3D Development, BDO, Busted Ladies, Rimbey Review, and Buist Motors. Sydney Libas, the second for Team Booth, looking to clean up the junky front already for Team Booth.
Yeah, it
Hartwell looking.
wasn't an ideal start there for the Booth team, but getting one out of the mix is gonna help them a lot here.
You bet. Hartwell is looking to draw around that red guard there. Apply the pressure here to Team Booth. It looks like this one's going to come up a little light, but Michelle Hartwell looking to maybe potentially stagger these rocks so that it becomes more difficult for Booth to deal with. She gets the roll off, but Booth now trying to maybe peel these reds out and get some space in the middle for their next shots to come. Sydney Libas in her second rock now. Sweeper's going all the way on this one. Oh, and she'll get the back one. She wasn't intending that, but it does kill the shot rock, and Hartwell, it looks like they might try and raise that red just to secure their 1 point there and potentially steal this end after a big 3 scored in the fourth.
Now, I'm not sure if there's been a little bit of the change in speed on the ice here in this end, but we've been seeing a lot of these players come up late, which I would say is a little uncharacteristic for both teams.
Yeah, after successfully placing some really great draws last end, it looks like they're having a little bit of a struggling time right now just to see if they can get those rocks there. Hartwell coming up short on a few, and Brissette, she came up short on a few for Booth as well on the first. It looks like Booth is going to elect to maybe draw here since there isn't a really good shot rock in the house at the moment. Jamie Scott, the third thrower. She is going to try and draw around for her skip right now.
Gonna have to watch what this is gonna do. I don't believe they've been out this wide for a draw quite yet, so might be a little slower out here and might grab a little sooner.
Team Booth going all the way on this one already, and it looks like it's already starting to come over. Let's see if their sweepers can drag this one in. Looks like it's just going to hit the top of that yellow and come up a bit short. The one thing about that shot, though, Rhett, is it sets it up really nice for kind of a little bump, a back 8, back 12 weight bump.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. We talked about a lot of these players coming up light, but the nice thing about where those stones are is there's a lot of shots that can be played off of them. So although they aren't in perfect positions right now, they're set up in a way that they can be useful later.
Hartwell out a little wider, trying to avoid the guards like Booth. And it looks like they had Torrey Hartwell going to just get by, and now Torrey's going again to try and bury. Wow. Great sweep by Torrey Hartwell to bury that rock there. And they get completely covered. Just the curl in that ice, the finish is quite incredible. Hey, Rhett?
Yeah, a big shout out to the ice makers here in Rimbey. That is some great movement, and it goes to show we're going to have a lot of great shots to watch throughout the week.
Jamie Scott looking to follow Team Hartwell down. Booth already on this rock. Looks like it's a little wait. The sweeper's calling halfway on this one. Now, if you're Michelle Hartwell, what do you think you'd play right now, Rhett?
Well, you know what? You just seen the path and kind of the weight of that come around draw there. So I think I'd like to come around. I do like what she's saying here. Maybe not come right to the 4-foot, but stay at that top 8, top 12 area and kind of prevents Team Booth from getting in there as well.
It does prevent a Booth run back really well, because those yellows that Scott and Brissett threw up, they're setting up quite nice to move on to that shot sitting in the back of the 4. But if you are Hartwell, you are sitting 2 reds. That top red is still technically in play and very much in the running for a potential steal here. Hartwell in her first in the 5th end.
It really goes to show what we talked about earlier about those rocks that are kind of towards the edge of the rings. They might not be close to the pin, but there's still something you have to watch out for.
Calkin Hartwell managing this rock already. Looks like they are hair tight, looking to get by those yellows. It seems like they won't, but Hartwell trying to move it in a little bit to try and prevent the yellow rays.
Now, Clara's seen a bunch come down this way, so she should have a really good idea of line and speed. But as you heard the players saying there, you just have to trust it. That's one thing when you come out this wide, you feel like you're kicking out with quite a lot, but you have to trust that it's a little slower and that it's going to come up that little bit earlier.
Claire Booth in her first here, trying to put the pressure on Team Hartwell and sit 1 to potentially set up for 2 here. Oh, and they just squeaked by the corner, but it looks like they've got a lot of weight here, so they're looking to see what they can do with this rock now. It'll just tap off that red rock. Now, if you're Michelle Hartwell, you are sitting one with fully buried. Rhett, what do you think the best course of action here would be?
I think they might want to try that draw again because that yellow in the back house isn't really, you don't really have to worry about it a lot. Um, and it puts a lot of, if you get another one in there, it puts a lot of pressure on Claire Booth here. So I think that's what they're doing here. Just going to try and sneak one in again and put a little more pressure onto the opposing team.
Hartwell in her last, as they don't have hammer in this end, but a pretty good chance available to them to potentially secure a steal on Team Booth and continue rolling after a big 3 in the fourth end.
The nice thing here too is if you ever come up light, you kind of you're acting as a guard because it's going to prevent Team Booth from getting in there. So they're going to have to make a really good shot to save the end.
Hartwell having really good weight here. They get by the guards now. They're just trying to see if they can sit. Hartwell doing her best to try and manage that rock, and they do. Great shot from Michelle Hartwell. Now, if you're Claire Booth, the draw still looks available to me, Rhett. What are you thinking?
Yeah, the draw is still there, and it's probably the most likely shot of being made. Like I said earlier, you've seen a bunch of rocks down this path, and you have already thrown one down this path, so you have a really good idea of the speed. And even if you don't get quite for shot, you're gonna at least outcount the other stones. So I don't really see any other option for Claire here.
Claire Booth in her final shot here in the fifth end with some pressure applied from Team Hartwell, shooting against 2 with her final stone.
Hurt a little less out of the hand, so sweepers are on a little early.
Sweepers are managing this rock really well, and the rock coming in now, so they're looking to really drag this rock to see if they can get by. Really great sweep effort from the Booth sweepers, and oh, it looks like they'll squeak for shot rock. Excellent shot from Claire Booth. They'll get their one and manage to escape that really good steal attempt from Team Hartwell. We're going to take a quick commercial break now as we head into the fifth end break, but don't go away as we've got 5 more ends to go. So we'll see you right back here, folks, in a couple of minutes. All right, as teams get ready to head back on the ice, we are going to give a little bit of a shout out. As we approach the halfway mark of the game, we need you, the viewers, to stop what you're doing right now. Grab your nearest device and search curlingalberta.ca/5050. The Rimbey Host Committee have done just an outstanding job leading up to the Women's Provincial Championship presented by Sentinel Storage, and the 5050 this week will support the Rimbey Curling Club. Buy now for your chance to win and support a great club with grassroots curling. Tickets on sale from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. January 22nd to 25th and 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. January 25th. Buyers must be over 18 and in Alberta to purchase. I know I have my 50/50, Rhett. How about you?
Oh yes, I've went and bought a couple myself. Love to support the different clubs and that are putting on this amazing event.
Yeah, it's been fantastic so far, and I think a big shout out should go out to the volunteers and the amazing work that they've done so far. Volunteers are a key to success at events like the 2025 Alberta Women's Provincials, presented by Sentinel Storage. We want to give a shout out to all the amazing volunteers that have come together to form the host committee, including chairs Paul Haruka and Lisa Shumkin. As we get back underway in this first A event game, the winner of this game will go on to play number 1 ranked Team Skrillex in the A quarters. Now, Rhett, there's 4 teams not on the ice right now in the field here in Rimbey. That's Team Skrillex, as I said, the number 1 seed, Team Richards, Team Plett, and Team Silvernagle. Those teams all had enough tour points to accumulate a bye into the quarters, so they await their opponents here from the round of 8.
Yeah, it's one of those things that is a little bit of a bonus when you do well throughout the year. It allows you to come into your game a little more rested, and it gives you an opportunity to maybe sit back and watch one of the live streams here and get an idea on the team you're going to play.
Team Booth electing to get that first stone in the house, put the pressure on Team Hartwell. It's a tied game 3-3 after the 5th, so it's really anyone's game here. Hartwell with the hammer in the 6th. Kalk looking to hit and roll on her first. Looks like it's a little inside, so Hartwell going early to try and hold this rock. Great sweep from Tori Hartwell that will manage to keep that rock making contact with the shot stone, but rolling out is the result.
You know, even though we're a tied game here, Hartwell is going to have to keep in mind that Claire Booth just made that really clutch draw. So the high spirits and momentum is a little bit with the Booth team here. So you might
I
see
think
some.
that's another thing to take in to attest to Team Booth. Like, you just hear their positive feedback and positive energy on the ice. I've really noticed it here watching the first 5 ends as well from Scott and Brissett, that they're the front end and they just make sure Claire has all the confidence in the world to throw that last rock to make that big shot in the 5th. So great first draw. That's probably a shot to remember for the week for them. So Hartwell trying to draw to the side now. And as we get into this end, let's do a little bit of a round the house update for the other draws that are on the ice right now. Hannah Phillips and Elliot Martins, they're playing on sheet A, and Martins takes a big 2 in the 5th to go up 3-1 against Hannah Phillips. Sheet B is a 3-3 tie, and that's our feature game here, Hartwell Booth, and they are in the 6th as well. Janae DeJong is up 2-1 on Nikki Kaufman in the 6th as they come off their break, and Keely Duncan giving up a 2 from Kaylee Shannon. So it's a tie game there as well on sheet D. So close games all around throughout the first draw.
Yes, a lot of close games and a lot of really good curling. I suggest to anyone that has the chance to stop by Rimbey there and take in the event.
Absolutely. And you can get those tickets on Curling Alberta's website, or you can go to got to get my little cheat sheet here. The ticket website on Curling Alberta. Yeah, so just go to Curling Alberta's website, check out the live scores, check out the event. If you're near the Rimbey area, or if you're wanting to try and see some really good curling in person, tickets can be purchased at the door or online. So Hartwell trying to kind of set up a little bit here. Comes up a bit short on the draw attempt, but the corner guard is in a really good position. So for Hartwell with the hammer, that could be something that comes back into play here for their team later in the end. Sydney Libis now trying to draw around the centerline guard previously put up by Sophie. And just peeks out a hair for Sydney, but great shot overall. Excellent draw weight there. Michelle's going to make a little bit of a softer weight play on it by the looks of it. Would you say board weight is the right call here, Rhett?
Yeah, I like board weight with the movement we're seeing and the way the ice is running. Board is just enough that it shouldn't take off from you, but also the right weight that you bring your sweepers into play.
Absolutely. Lisa Miller trying her best to try and get this rock over. An excellent roll opportunity for Hartwell. Wow, great shot from them right under that corner guard. That's got to be so far a highlight reel shot for Team Hartwell and all the teams here in Rimbey. I know it might be a simpler shot, but those simple shots win you games. So great effort and great throw from Tori Hartwell and her sweepers.
That's the other advantage of throwing a board weight or something like a board weight, a hack weight there, is you're going to keep your shooters. So you more likely than not are going to get those nice little rolls behind guards and going to have to put a little pressure on the Booth team here.
Jamie Scott opting to peel that guard with Claire, I guess, opting to peel that guard, and Jamie Scott successfully peeling it and rolling her shooter in. Now, that's a really good kind of advantage. Now, Michelle's going to take it out, but the one thing with it is it gives kind of the Booth team an opportunity to maybe force Hartwell to a hit and stay where they've kind of over curled or under curled in the past, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is not only is Claire watching her own team here, she's going to be watching the other team, and she knows she's going to find the tendencies, and she's going to use that to her advantage. The other nice thing about that shot is it means that they're going to have to go after the stone and don't just get a freebie to put it wherever they want.
Exactly. And see, that's exactly what we were just talking about, that opportunity to potentially have an undercurl or overcurl on the side with those simple shots. Definitely just happened with the rock sailing by that yellow, and now Booth having the opportunity to hit that rock on the side and potentially set up for a great force against Hartwell. Team Booth also a little tight here, so experiencing some stuff there as well. They get the rock, but they will roll out. So Hartwell, they have the opportunity back to try and hit and roll under their center and set up for 2 here.
And although they would have liked to hit and stayed there, it's nice that they got that red out of play. With Hartwell having hammer here, it forces them to really make some shots here for a deuce or even a blank at this point.
And that red just sticks around, so it forces Claire to kind of address it with the lack of rocks in play here. But with that center line guard available to them, Claire's going to do everything she can to try and roll that rock back into the center so that they can use that and utilize that guard that they have in play. First shot for Claire Booth here at the end of the sixth end, sorry. Throwing yellow stones at a tie game without hammer.
Now they're going to want to make sure they make contact here, but the other thing you're going to see is they're going to make sure they get a roll. Because although you might not make the roll perfect, if you put it into a different spot, it's a little bit different of a path for Hartwell to follow.
So a little wide there, and they roll out, but not a bad result because you remove the rock, right, Rhett?
Yeah.
All right. Now Booth Hartwell, sorry, trying to draw into the middle and put some pressure on their opponent. Hartwell in her first in the sixth here. With a draw attempt around the guard.
And the thing here is, although it seems like a simple shot, Michelle's going to want to make this draw good, because if you ever come a little bit deep, or if you're a little bit wide, as it looks like this rock is coming, it might open up a force opportunity for Claire Booth to get the hammer back going into 7.
That was a great shot from Michelle Hartwell. Gets right under the guard and doesn't show Claire a whole lot. Now, as Claire makes her way down to the other end for her last stone, we'd like to acknowledge one of our main partners at Curling Alberta. Bel Air Direct offers Curling Alberta's curlers and their families with exclusive discounts on insurance. Eligible members may receive a group discount on their car, home, condo, and tenants insurance on top of any other discounts, savings, and benefits customers are already eligible for at Bel Air Direct. We'd like to thank them for their continued support, and we now take you back to the stream with Claire Booth, her final stone in the sixth end without hammer. So a little bit of a mistake there from Team Booth, and Hartwell, they'll just nick the Hartwell stone and it remains in place. So an open draw for Michelle Hartwell to go up 5-3 here on Claire Booth in the sixth end. Rhett, I really like this path they chose. They just threw it. They know the path, and I think the one thing that Hartwell's team is doing really well is those simple shots they're just executing at a high level right now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I really like the path they've chose, as, like you said, they just threw it, so the sweepers are going to know the weight. Michelle's going to have the feel, and her third in the house is going to have an idea of what it's going to do on the line.
Last stone now in the sixth end, Michelle Hartwell with a draw for 2. Ashley Kalk saying just clean, and the sweepers making sure that their rock is in the rings, and they do indeed hit it. So that's another 2 points for Hartwell up on the board to go up 5-3 in the 7th. Now, taking a look in between ends, we'd like to thank another sponsor, Boston Pizza. For more than 50 years, Boston Pizza has had a proud history of participating and giving back to the communities in which we live and operate our restaurants. The Boston Pizza restaurants of Northern Alberta understand the value of being involved in the community, and Boston Pizza is honored to be involved and support the community where it needs it the most. They know the strength that is required from the community to host events such as the Boston Pizza Cup on behalf of Curling Alberta. Thank you to Boston Pizza franchises for being supportive of curling in Alberta and for being eager to find new ways to grow the game with us. Hartwell having their first rock of the end go up, looking to be top 4. That's what Michelle Hartwell's calling after a clutch draw in the 6th end. 5-3 lead for this Hartwell team as they get settled into their first game at the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championship presented by Sentinel Storage.
Yeah, that too is going to give Michelle a really good cushion here going into the last few ends of the game.
Now, as we get settled into the first end here, let's take an update around the rink. We do have some score updates from some other sheets, with Hannah Phillips getting 2 right back on Elliot Martins, and it is a 3-3 tie heading into the 7th end there. Michelle Hartwell leads Claire Booth on our feature sheet 5-3 in the 7th as well. Keely Duncan also getting 2 right back on Team Shannon on sheet D, and they lead Team Shannon 5-3 as well, with 4 ends to play as well. A really successful corner guard from Team Booth sets up their end, starting to set up their end really nice. Lisa Miller now trying to kind of work this rock over towards the center line so that they can at least bite a piece of that center line. Going for depth now, Tori Hartwell. Great shot. A little bit deeper than maybe what they wanted, but they'll take it as it completely covers the center line. Booth saying it's a little bit up now. Waiting to see if this rock sticks around. Looks like it'll just float on past, but good communication there from Team Booth to at least communicate it to see if they could have done anything with that shot. Now, if you're Team Hartwell, you really want to try and make sure this rock is above the tee line and just under the guard, so maybe even just partially buried to put some pressure on your opponent.
Yeah, you're going to use this opportunity to put a good stone in there and put a lot of pressure on the Booth team here. But like you said, you want to make sure you are above tee line, because as soon as you go behind that tee line, you're almost helping the Booth team more than yourself.
Team Hartwell really trying to work this rock back over after it looks to be a hair wide. It sinks deep, so they have to stop sweeping, but it does kind of go to the edge of that red guard. So It's not an easy shot to address for Team Booth, but definitely easier than what it would have been. Sydney Libis with a little easy weight bump here to try and hopefully have a little roll inside. Sophie Brissett really trying to work this rock back over. It's coming over now, but doesn't quite get there, but does make contact with the back. So Claire's going to try and move that right out, and it does. Really great shot. And the yellow rock rolls to the side, so kind of works away from the center that Hartwell has set up.
Yeah, Team Booth there is going to have a little bit of sigh of relief. Those two rocks being within the 4 foot were a little dicey, but now having the rock roll away, it's going to turn into kind of a hit game, and they should be able to get out with a nice, easy end.
Hartwell electing to hit this side yellow, but they will roll out, so this will give Claire Booth an opportunity to potentially draw under the corner guard she set up earlier in the end. Sydney Libis looking to follow up a really good shot with another really good shot, so no timeouts left, or no timeouts used in this game, yet, Rhett.
No, both teams are very smart strategic wise and have some very good communication throughout the team. And they haven't gotten themselves into too much trouble. Maybe some shots that they would have liked to go other ways, but so far they kept a pretty good game so far.
Now, as we get closer to the end of our game, I know it's going to be unfortunate that we'll have to wait for some more action here at Rimbey before our next draw, but that doesn't mean if you're close by, you can't head on down to the Rimbey location to try and see some really good curling and watch some really good curling. On January 22nd today, the Icebreaker Party will also be going on in the Social Lounge. On the 23rd, they have a cornhole tournament. And the 24th and 25th, they have a live band, which include the Band and Ugly, The Good, and Court Jester dueling pianos. So lots of action going on in Rimbey right now. So a place you want to be if you've got some spare time and you're near the location.
So the one great thing about curling events like this is not only do you get to enjoy great curling, but you get to enjoy different aspects like that.
Definitely. I mean, those live bands, including the dueling pianos on the 25th, that seems like a blast. So you could see me in Rimbey on the 25th. I'm just saying.
Pulling out some dance moves with the lives band.
You never know. You never know, Rhett. Team Booth looking to draw around here. Their yellow rock coming close on the red guard thrown by Hartwell. It does rack the guard because it is a little light, but Team Booth, they still have an opportunity to potentially score a deuce here. They've got lots of different guards in play, and with Hartwell addressing this yellow on the side here, it could give them an opportunity to draw around later in the end, Rhett.
Yeah, no, right now it's kind of anybody's end. You're going to see both these teams trying really hard to make some good shots because right now this end could go either way.
Lisa Miller a little outside here. Rolls out, but gets rid of that yellow rock. Claire Booth potentially looking to bump or draw around. The bump is the shot she's elected.
A little more rollouts than we're used to seeing. I'm not sure if that maybe comes from the weight being thrown, or maybe as the game has went on, the pebble has worn down a bit and straightened out, but gives Team Booth a really good opportunity to try this draw again.
Yeah, I think Jamie Scott, she's comfortable with it. She just threw it, so she knows the weight and line required to make the shot. So thrower's choice right now, and looking good so far. Team Booth looking to work it in a little bit as it's a hair outside, but sinks deep a little bit, but comes into play by the looks of it, and will be the shot rock under the yellow. So if you're Team Hartwell right now, Rhett, would you say your best opportunity is to come down to that or maybe sit in the top four?
Yeah, it's a little more of a confident call there. If I'm Team Hartwell here, I'm 2 up and I have a little bit of a cushion, so I might even try to keep things a little bit more clean. Might try that run on the yellow, but this, like I've said, have seen these paths multiple times. So if they're confident with it, this is a way that they can come in and put a lot of pressure onto the Booth team.
And I think, yeah, they see the opportunity as, I think their original shot is to go to top four, and if they are a little bit heavy, they can move that back towards the back of that, or the front of that yellow stone there, and sit on top. So I think they, like you said, they have a little bit of a cushion, so they're looking for just that tolerance range there to make a really good one. Hartwell watching the rock come down. They're calling their sweepers on it. Looks like it's curling up quite a lot already. Tori Hartwell doing her best to hold this line. It looks like they'll get by, and now they're trying to bury it for top four. Michelle Hartwell with a really good shot on her first. Michelle's just been dialed in with her draw weight so far this game.
Yeah, it's a scary thing to see as the other team if the opposing skip's got draw weight, because there's nothing better as a skip than knowing you can hit the tee line.
It definitely allows you to play with more confidence. So I think for Team Hartwell is really riding on their skip's high performance right now. So
And we talked earlier about Michelle having that little bit of experience, and you can see her throughout this game. She's cool, she's calm, she's collected, and she's kind of in her environment here. So really,
exactly. Claire Booth electing the run back right now, trying to get that red shot stone, and she's going to make it really nice. Great shot, and she misses the back yellow. Excellent shot from Claire Booth. She'll sneak out behind the away from the guard, so it is fully open, but it allows them to sit two.
I obviously didn't have
That's a really good opportunity for
like,
Team Booth.
This feels really wide.
yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's you have 2 in the house, and the Hartwell team here is going to have to watch out. Both so far, it's been a great game. Both skips making a lot of shots, and it's shown in the score.
Cross that bridge when you get there.
Hartwell going down to the other end to throw her last stone of the 7th end with red rocks without hammer. Hartwell leads 5-3 in the 7th with 4 ends to play. Tori Hartwell getting ready to sweep this. Ashley Kalk working it over. And perfect. Oh, just doesn't quite roll up quite enough for them, but Claire Booth with the opportunity to just kind of throw that board weight again, right, Rhett? Is just that back 12 hack board weight even at this red rock in the front.
Yeah, I really like the
Yeah.
quieter weights here because, as I keep saying, it brings those sweepers into play, and it kind of gives you a little
Yeah.
leeway. If you don't hit it perfect, you're still gonna hold on to that shooter.
Claire Booth with the shot for
think you
two,
can
a
get away
big
with more.
two here
Yeah. Yeah, I like
in
that.
the 7th
You got it.
to tie up the game and keep this game right close. Final stone, Claire Booth in the 7th, Yellow Rocks.
What a hairstyle. A little heavy.
The sweeper's going on this all the way. Oh, and will it hit the back yellow? Oh, and it doesn't. Great shot from Claire Booth. That quieter weight comes in clutch, and she gets a big 2 on the board to tie up the game, 5-5 going into the 8th end. Great shot, hey, Rhett.
Yes, amazing shot. Especially to miss the one in the back of the house there.
That's crazy. I thought it was
You
heavy.
bet.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Is it 10 now?
I stopped it and started before you.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of an update since I missed Sheet C on my last update. Janae DeJong and Nikki Kaufman
Let's do
are
it.
tied 2-2 going into the 7th. Nikki Kaufman stealing 1 after picking up 1 in the 5th. So right back in the game with some momentum now. And like I said to all of our viewers at home, we have an amazing opportunity to win some great funds at the 50-50 and support the Rimbey Curling Club. And the one thing I missed when I mentioned this early is, as well as we also have a prize raffle going on with the 50-50. The winner of the prize raffle gets a fishing trip for
Yeah, you
4
got
to
it.
Prince Rupert plus flights with a $20,000 value. So a huge grand prize up for grabs with the 50-50. So head to Curling Alberta's 50-50 website and buy it right from home. All residents have to be 18 years of age and must reside in Alberta.
Halfway. Halfway, high. Halfway.
Shorter than your broom, just half. Okay. It's actually
Team
close to
Booth
your broom.
looking to draw on their
Yeah.
first after a really successful 7th end. It just sneaks off the center line there. So could that come into play now that we're later in the game, Rhett, that they have a opportunity to tick that rock? Team Hartwell does, but
Yeah, you don't see Hartwell playing the tick here, but it's a very good point because being off the center line, and now that you're tied, you might have seen Hartwell tick that away and prevent Team Booth from getting anything towards the middle or putting any pressure onto the Hartwell team.
Good sweeping.
Tori Hartwell sweeping this now
6-9.
right on the 50-50 Curling Alberta logo sign. It's like I was talking about it at the right time or something. Hey, Rhett?
Oh yes,
Yeah, I like it. You got it.
you know
Claire Booth.
it's almost a win-win, a chance at a fishing trip, and you're supporting curling. I don't know how much better it could get.
Pretty much. So you heard
Little
him first,
late.
folks. Go online, buy your tickets.
8 on 12. I think we're close.
Claire Booth electing to draw around that centerline guard they had put up. It's really tight though for line, so they're looking to try and get by. The sweepers, they don't quite get it there, and it looks like the
Yeah, wait, what?
tickets are,
Good sweep.
or the rock goes right there and slips into the 12-foot.
Just a little. 15. Yeah.
Team Hartwell again looking to get that rock out of play and potentially roll. Well executed shot from Ashley Kalk.
Yeah, you got it.
And I've got an update on the jackpot for the 50-50, which ends in 6 hours, almost on the dot. So $710 jackpot right now. The winner takes home $355. So get your tickets now, folks.
Little light, tight, top 12. Top 12. I think.
Yeah.
Just tight. Tight.
Team Booth looking to
Just tight.
draw around again.
Just tight.
If they're even.
We're just, yeah. Okay.
So they'll go right under that guard, and it kind of sets up that double guard opportunity. But Michelle
just a slow
Hartwell
kick.
probably going to remove these from play and make sure it's not a problem in the future. Hey, Rhett.
Yes, they're sitting here tied, and she's got the hammer in the 8th end here, so she's not gonna wanna play her cards too much here, as she kind of has not the advantage of the 2 that she had earlier, but tied with is something that can give her a little bit of confidence. Even bumps her red right into
think
the
that
rings
bumped
there
him
as
in.
well.
Very nice for Team Hartwell, and kind of a nice little cherry on top with that shot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got it.
The
Sid.
one thing, though,
Go.
is they did leave their shooter, so it could result in a little bit of a problem for them. So it's probably not the outcome they completely had wanted, even though they had rolled their shooter in. Team Booth looking to take advantage of that now and roll or draw
Little
right
heavy.
under that centerline guard that
Weight's
they
pretty
left.
good. Back 4.
Yeah, they
Back
would have
8.
liked to roll off that shooter
Back
and make
4.
it one less thing to worry about. At least the nice thing, it is their color. So if they have to run something back later in the end, they're running
So,
back one of their
8,
own.
Back 8. Back 4, just back 4.
Sydney Libbis with a great draw there. A hair heavy, not too much, but right under the guard there. So Michelle Hartwell can't as easily access that rock. So Michelle looking to peel the guard and just try and kind of make something out of it.
Good. 14-5. So it will sit if we're not on.
Maybe not.
14-5?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It looks like they might be trying to bump this, right, Rhett?
I think so. I was a little confused because I thought as well she was going to go up for that peel, but it looked like she called something with like a back 8, back 12 weight. Maybe trying
Kind
to
of
split
like
off.
it's kind of like a little bit of a mixed doubles strategy here, where you try and bump the guard into the house and roll your shooter away. And they do just that. Very great shot from Team Hartwell. Will it stick in the house? And it does. Great shot. Tori Hartwell with another great shot. She's been playing very well this game.
Try to roll it to.
And Tori Hartwell is the new player on the defending Canadian Collegiate champions, the Concordia University Thunder. She's the new player on that Gabby Woods team that played in the PointsBet Invitational this year. So cool opportunity for Tori to play with a successful team already, as well as her mom's women's team.
Super exciting to see all this high-level talent here at our provincials this year.
Team Booth electing to kill that red in the house and roll their yellow rock directly over top of the one they put in the back of the 4. So it kind of works out as kind of like a little of a bigger problem for Hartwell, right, Brett?
Yeah, it almost acts as a guard there, so really good spot to roll to for the Booth team.
I certainly was not. 10-7.
Lisa Miller trying to get the double or maybe roll a bit, and she does roll. So the one thing Team Hartwell is doing very well right now is keeping those red shooters in play. So they're all well within the range of potentially scoring.
Are those 2 in? Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
just
goes
a
to show the
scary
benefits
spot.
of playing that nice controlled weight where,
I agree.
although you didn't make the shot perfect, you are leaving something really nice for yourself.
Yeah. If you like, I'm okay with the guard. I do like it. I just, neither hit's great. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So a little bit of a different call here. They're
Sorry,
trying to,
9?
like we said, those reds are counting. So they're
Okay.
number 2 and 3 shots. So for Claire, she wants to eliminate one of those rocks and try and roll right to that kind of in between the 8-foot and 12-foot. Jamie Scott with the rock here to try and roll a bit.
Hard!
Sydney Libis trying to hold it.
Sit.
And let's see if it sticks. Michelle Hartwell trying her best to get this one right out. And it just sticks around, but it looks like red at the top of the house there might be second shot. Michelle's going to go take a look right now, and you'll see that the red is probably second shot. So Michelle probably opting to remove that one at shot right now and bring her two back as shots.
Yeah, I think she might have gestured that it is sitting second shot there, so gives her a really good opportunity to hit this yellow and sit two, putting a lot of pressure onto the Booth team without the hammer.
Lisa Miller trying to get that little hit and roll. Tori Hartwell with the sweep. Oh, and she gets the double and the roll. Excellent shot from Lisa Miller. She'd be really happy with that one.
Those are always some feel-good shots when you make the one you intended and get a bonus as well.
You bet. Claire Booth looking to just kind of hit the shot rock here and try and maybe roll towards the corner there and get under some coverage so that Michelle Hartwell has a harder time at generating two. Claire Booth with her first in the 8th end, throwing yellow stones now. Jamie Scott sweeping this. And they'll roll right into the middle. So it's wide open for Team Hartwell. And the one thing with this is Hartwell is probably just going to want to hit and stay. Like, I don't think you want to overcomplicate this because you want to make sure you can secure two at this late point in the game, right, Rhett?
Yeah, they have quite the advantage here sitting two with the hammer. So, like you said, don't overcomplicate it. Just get a nice nose hit. Maybe a little roll, but again, don't overcomplicate it. A nice nose hit, and you should be lined up good for a two in this end.
Michelle Hartwell with her first in the 8th end, throwing red stones and the hammer.
10. Yep. Hard Tori. Hard Tori.
Tori Hartwell and Ashley Kalk both going extremely hard on this to try and hold it for their skipper. A little bit of an error there from Team Hartwell as they roll out of play. So this will give Booth the opportunity to draw around those corner guards and force Hartwell to potentially draw for one. So a little bit of an unforced error there that we've seen. Kind of one of the first big misses we've seen Michelle Hartwell make all game.
Yeah, she's been quite on fire throughout the game and has played really well. So a little uncharacteristic to see that miss from her. But given Claire Booth a really good opportunity here, and it's turning around the end.
Sydney Libis holding broom. Claire looked pretty confident where she put the ice. She put the broom down, walked right down to throw her last stone in the 8th end. looking to draw around the corner guard, sit shot stone, and potentially force their opponent to draw for one at this late point in the first round of 8 of the A event here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championship presented by Sentinel Storage. Team Booth doing everything they can to just sneak by the guard and get by to sit shot stone, and they do. What a sweep. Great effort and team shot from Team Booth. Claire Booth has got to be happy about that one.
Just goes to show the level of play here at the Alberta Provincials here. One missed shot in the end has totally changed pace from a potential 2 to now a force.
Michelle Hartwell just electing to draw for the 1 and just taking the point here.
0-0-5.
Last stone, 8th end. A draw for 1 for Michelle Hartwell throwing red stones.
Can't hurt it, Tori.
Ashley Kalk and Tori Hartwell going on this early, thinking it's light.
Go, Tori, go.
They're going all the way on this one to try and outcount that
Tori.
yellow shot stone. All the way. Can they do it? Can they sneak by and get the 1? And they can. Great sweep from their sweepers. Tori Hartwell and Ashley Kalk.
That's one of those shots where you go and give your sweepers a big pat on the back because a lot of work put into that stone.
Yeah, you can see Tori and Ashley, they share kind of a smile there with the team after that shot, knowing that they just kind of got that rock there for their skipper.
3 minutes.
So they take the 1. Hartwell leads 6-5 in the 9th end of play. So last 2 ends of play, looking to kind of finish up. The first single point scored by Team Hartwell. First force of the game for Team Booth.
Yeah, I think ideally we blank, but
Agree.
2's fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree with you.
yeah. Clean deuce. Blank.
I need to pull my underwear out.
Team Booth, you can kind of hear the players talking there. They're wanting to see if they can maybe blank this end. They want to maybe potentially carry that hammer into the 10th end and get to there and take the win.
Yeah, really good conversation from Team Booth there. Even, like you said, they a potential blank, and they even said a clean deuce. So if an opportunity comes up, they might take the 2, but taking that hammer into the 10th end is a great option as well.
For those of you who have just joined us or joined us recently, my name is Justice Jakes, and I'm joined by Rep Malou from the Peter Lougheed Community Center here in Rimbey, Alberta, for the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championship presented by Sentinel Storage. This matchup features the feature sheet with Team Claire Booth taking on Team Michelle Hartwell in the round of 8 to go play the winner, or the waiting winner, or I guess waiting Team Skrillick, Kayla Skrillick, in the quarterfinals of the A side of this provincial championship. Sophie Brissett throwing her second rock, or first rock, sorry, by the looks of it.
Top 8.
For Team Booth.
Yeah, stay down.
Looking to go around that centerline guard, thrown by Ashley Kalk from Team Hartwell.
Good sweep.
Michelle Hartwell looking to draw around and beat Team Booth to the button. Ashley Kalk again here with the draw attempt.
Hard, Tori.
Tori Hartwell having to sweep the last few.
Whoa!
Line's looking really good now. They're just waiting for the weight to come up here, and Lisa Miller helping it over. Really great shot from Ashley Kalk, who has been very successful in their opportunity, or I guess in Curling Alberta's championship history.
Good brush, ladies.
She was, I believe, the 2023 winner of the Alberta Mixed Doubles Championship with Craig McAlpine, so very successful there, and also represented Alberta once at the Mixed National Championship, so provincial winner already, looking to add a women's title to her belt.
Yeah, that draw from her there really forces Team Booth here to make a good one. It shortens up that scoring area and is going to cause a little trouble if they were going for that blank or that clean deuce.
Now, Team Hartwell thinking about this one here for a minute, just examining the scenario and looking to maybe set up. They want to make sure that these yellows, that they've got that shot rock there, and they want to make sure that these yellows aren't a threat to it. So looking to just plug a red rock in there and take away the angles a bit for Team Booth.
Yeah, you'll see if the shot is made perfectly, it's going to be really hard for Team Booth to get anything generated here, and you might see a peel come because you get good angles on these yellow stones, and it's going to be really hard for them to get to your red stone on the back four there.
Yeah, and just like you said, Rhett, it's happening. They're going to peel this rock and maybe see if they can get some rocks moving. It looks like they're going to try the run back peel option on it, so we'll see if our second Sydney Libis can execute this. Sydney Libis is also the vice for this team, so she is the broom holder for Claire Booth when she throws her rocks.
No lack of weight coming down on that stone.
Yeah, you bet. I've heard the Libis family can throw some weight, so I definitely have full faith in Sydney and her ability to make sure that rock goes. So the Jacob Libis qualified for the men's provincial championship, and Coach Mike Libis, their dad, Sydney and Jacob's dad, there coaching this Team Booth. So really a well-rounded curling family that's done so much for our sport and our province here. So one of the best ice makers we've got here in Alberta, for sure.
Gonna have to carve 3. Hard. Yep, hard. 3, 2, 3.
I guess that's a really good point to bring up, that if you're unable to come down to Rimbey to watch some of this curling, I believe is it Stettler the men's provincials is?
You bet, Rhett. The Erskine Curling Club is hosting the men's provincial, the Boston Pizza Cup, this year at the Stettler Recreation Complex. So get your tickets now for the Boston Pizza Cup, where big names like Kevin Cooey, Tyler Tardy, Aaron Slachinsky, Jason Ginter, all of the pro curlers that have worked hard all season look to book a ticket to the Brier and represent Alberta. So a great event there that the Erskine Curling Club has been working so hard on. Sydney Libis now with another peel attempt. Really great execution from that.
Yeah.
It goes to show just how spoiled we are here in Alberta to watch all this talent, both at the Alberta Scotties here and at the Boston Pizza Cup, seeing names on both the men's and women's side. A lot of big names.
You bet. I think a lot of the big names now, like Kayla Skrillik, especially like in the women's championship, they're number 3 in Canada right now for CTRS. So if everything goes the way it sits today and they can continue to earn those points and have a a strong performance here at our provincial championship, they could very well be the team that gets invited for the pre-qualifier for the Scotties next year. So it'll be interesting to see
just basically nose.
to see them compete here in Rimbey. Another big shout out I'd like to give is to Terry Morris, the lead championship coordinator for this event. He's done a fantastic job with the Rimbey Curling Club and their host committee to just execute such a well done championship. So him and Michael Latteroot, our championship coordinator, have done such a fantastic job with this host committee to put on what looks to be a great event so far. So if you haven't got your tickets, like I said, go now to the Rimbey Curling Club. You can buy your tickets at the door or online. So Lisa Miller right now with the red stone, trying to bring it into play. Tori Hartwell doing her best to try and get this rock over. Looks like just a guard attempt to try and protect that one on the back of the forefoot, which is currently shot still.
I know. It's just...
Now, for those at home that might be a little curious as we watch Tori sweeping there, she was doing a technique that we call a little bit of the push. It's to get that rock to come over, but without adding weight.
I don't mind
You'll notice it's not the illegal dumping maneuver where it's you lift the broom up right over the rock. So making sure that she follows through with her stroke there. It's a really good technique that a well-experienced sweeper knows. So a very good opportunity and I guess effort from Tori Hartwell to put her team forward. And Team Booth, they look to make contact with that back red, but they just nick the guard there. So I'm sure that's a good plan B, though, for them as they clear the front of the house out. So for Michelle Hartwell, she has to kind of make the decision now where do you want to try and move some of those yellows around, or do you want to put up a guard, protect your one, and see if you can steal given the opportunity late in this game?
I think she's electing just to throw the guard here, which I like because it almost makes Claire think about that draw to the other way, which could potentially result in a force, which I believe both the Hartwell team wouldn't be opposed to this late in the game.
Yeah, so
Michelle Hartwell and her first stone. Looking to guard this red rock that she has shot at the back of the four. Ashley Kalk trying to work the rock and hold the line. Little inside right now from the Hartwell team. So they're just trying to do their best to get it over and put it on the center line. They really got to work to get it over here, and they do just barely. So a little bit of an uncharacteristical miss from Michelle. She's been really on fire this whole game, and we've seen a miss last end and a miss now. Kind of some opportunities coming up for Team Booth to try and get something going here, get something generating for that team. Now, Rhett, if taking a look at the house here, what do you think is the smart play? Booth selecting to play the little raise here, but Hartwell might have it back, right?
Yeah, there's really not a lot of good options for Claire here because Michelle Hartwell and her team have done a lot of work to line up the angles in favor for her. I think this is the right call
Yeah,
because
you got it.
although Michelle's going to have a similar shot back, by unlocking
Okay,
that
you got it.
yellow from the red, you kind of open up more options for yourself.
Claire Booth in her first. Yellow rocks in the 9th end with hammer.
10.
Trying to make the raise to kill the shot rock at the back of the 4.
Whoa.
10. Hard, Sid. Hard.
Oh, and it just sticks around the red rock, sticks his shot, and
Okay.
rolls the yellow shooter out. So for Michelle Hartwell now, the opportunity is to just probably kill that yellow rock, right?
What's the call
Rhett?
on that? Pardon?
Yeah, you kill that yellow rock and you're sitting 1, 2,
I
3,
didn't
which
look.
is a force for Claire. But you see Michelle kind of gesturing to come in, which is a
And
very
then just sit
confident
there.
call. It puts a lot of pressure onto
Do you like the
the
draw?
Booth
That's cool
team, and
too.
you might even get a steal out of it. But
Yeah.
So it looks like they're gonna play that, and it's almost like they might raise that front red just to that position you were talking about, Rhett, and
I mean, I
they're
guess the
gonna
danger here is the top.
play the
pairs,
raise,
but-
maybe not so much the draw path, just because of Michelle. She just threw this pass. She knows it. She's comfortable with it. So this late in the game, you're going to take every opportunity
have a
to try
simple
and
tap, though.
make your shot, right? And it's a little bit of a different way of doing it, but the raise, would you say, is a successful way
You
of
like the
getting the
tap then?
outcome you want?
Okay.
yeah, the raise here gives you a really good chance at a steal,
Yeah.
which would be great
Guard
to go
is okay. Like
2
you're
up
telling us
into
here
the
is a
last
guard
end.
too, right?
And even
But you got to pick which one you like.
even if you don't make it perfectly, you're leaving reds in front of the house, which makes it hard for
Yeah.
Claire
Do you
to
wanna-
score any more than one. So, I
Yeah.
like the call here because it's a good way to either generate a point
Do you wanna
or
take a
to
timeout here?
almost protect yourself.
Okay.
The team talking about maybe taking a timeout and discussing with their coach.
I could bump them and give them an easy 2 or open it up. I like this. I think Jim's gonna like this. He always says if we can draw.
It looks like they've decided to elect to play the draw.
All right.
So
4 foot. 005.
Michelle Hartwell with her last in the 9th, throwing red stones, looking to apply some pressure to Claire Booth. Tori Hartwell and Ashley Kalk managing the stone. Lisa Miller calling line. Wow, and what a great draw from Michelle Hartwell, just right on the back of the button. So it gives Claire an opportunity to either play a raise or follow her down and draw.
Good judge.
Rhett, would you say the opportunity for 2 is away? There is a potential triple lined up.
Yeah, that's maybe something I would look into if I was on the ice right now, just because you are in the 9th here, and
I think that was the call. Hey.
you might want to. It's a risk reward situation. If you feel like the risk is worth the potential reward, then go for it. But with Claire just raising this yellow back, it's also not a wrong call.
No, I hated the tap. Now that I'm looking at it.
If you can't find the event here on our YouTube channel, or if you've kind of missed the opportunity to keep up with the event, check out our social medias, as our players had the unique opportunity to do some media content creation and some fun activities. So all week long, you'll be seeing some creative posting by our Curling Alberta marketing team, who have just done a fantastic job this season on marketing our sport. So props to Raymond Vanstone and Tyler Tardia, our amazing marketing team at Curling Alberta, that have done a fantastic job this year marketing our athletes. So last stone from Claire Booth, looking to secure 1 point for her team and keep this game tied up going into the 10th. Jamie Scott, Sophie Brissett sweeping the rock, giving it all they have to try and secure the 1 point. It looks like it might be a steal. So a steal of potentially 1 or 2 for Hartwell. So as we wait to get the score up, I'd like to recognize our last and probably arguably most important sponsor as our title sponsor,
I'm so glad we went to the draw because it was
Sentinel Storage.
I think in that
Sentinel Storage has a great history in Alberta from their humble beginnings in 1998. They have grown into the trusted leader in the self-storage industry. As a proudly Canadian company, Sentinel Storage is honored to be a part of this long-standing Albertan event. They are honored to support Curling Alberta and its outstanding athletes and the community around them. Curling Alberta thanks Sentinel Storage for their ongoing partnership of curling in Alberta. So a little bit of an around the rink update here for all of our viewers watching from
before
home.
she came down, I almost thought we were gonna play like a.
We've got all the games completing or playing the ninth end with Hannah Phillips and Elliot Martins tied at a 5-5 duel on Sheet A. Sheet Bravo, Michelle Hartwell, Claire Booth, our feature game. Michelle Hartwell. The score yet to be posted. Waiting for the update there. Playing the 10th end. There's the score being posted now. It looks like it's going to be an 8-5 lead for Michelle Hartwell. So securing a steal of 2. A big steal of 2 for Michelle Hartwell there to potentially move her one step forward of playing Kayla Skrillik in the quarter, the A quarter. Sheet C, Janae DeJong playing Nikki Kaufman. DeJong getting a big 3 points in the 8th end to go up 5-4 after giving up a steal of 2 to Kaufman in the 7th. And then finally on Sheet D, we've got Keely Duncan, Kaylee Shannon playing their 9th end. Kaylee Shannon stealing 1 in the 8th end to go up 6-5. Close games all around, Rhett.
Yeah, close games and great curling.
Sophie Brissett looking to secure a corner guard here for her team.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to maybe pick your brain here on this. You're playing against a team, you're 3 down, you're playing against a team that hasn't missed much. Is there a certain thing you're going to say in your pre-end meeting or certain way you're going to look at this end?
I think if you're Team Booth, you just want to make sure that you're taking the time every shot. You've got lots of time on the clock, and even though this is a timed event where you do have thinking time, you shouldn't be worried by it. So use it to your advantage, right? Make the clock work for you. That's what I always say to my skips. So that's kind of the thing I would be thinking right now in the pregame, and maybe just making sure that communication is at its best, because communicating teams that manage their clock well and take their time, they often perform the best out of the entire field. So that's what I would be thinking right now if I was Claire Booth and her team. And if I'm Michelle Hartwell, it's just time to hunker down and really try and make sure that this game doesn't go south, but kind of lock it up if I was them.
It's one thing at this level that you might be up by 3, but like you said, you got to hunker down and you got to go, because anything can happen at any time. And if you give this Booth team a opportunity, they're going to take it. So you might be 3 up, but I know that they're going to be going hard to keep that lead.
You bet. And if I must say, that is probably the best double corner I've seen in a while. That was a great sweep from Team Booth to get that rock just over the the hog line, and get that double corner prepared to hopefully potentially take 3 points or more to tie or win this game.
9.
Yeah, those high corners are always the scary ones, because you can't throw too much and you got to bring your sweepers into it. So it's a very team-oriented shot.
Getting some updates now on the other sheets. It looks like Kaylee Shannon just stole another 2. So a steal of 1 in the 8th and a steal of 2 in the 9th to go up 8-5 on Keely Duncan. That's a big steal for them and their mission to move on to the quarters as well. And for Elliott Martins, it looks like they get forced to 1 in the 9th. So they'll have to retain their lead in the 10th against Hannah Phillips, who will try and take 2 in the 10th to win and move on to the A quarter as well. Team Booth looking to draw around here. Sophie Brissett working it over. Claire Booth looking to see if she can get it as far under that corner, that second corner as possible, so that Team Hartwell has really a hard opportunity at getting that stone. Now, Red, you've got 3 reds. No, it's all good. You've got 3 reds in the house, and you're Michelle Hartwell right now. You're liking the peel.
Oh yes, they're. You know what? Those guards are the only thing that are going to help Team Booth here with scoring that multiple score. So you want to get rid of them as soon as you can.
Great shot from Tori Hartwell, who's probably I'd think she'd probably be the best player on the ice right now if I was to do stats and stuff. Like, she hasn't missed much. And I think that's one of the things that taking advantage of that second position there, that percentage there, like teammate to teammate, your opponent, looking at the second position there. Tori, I think, has kind of outplayed Sydney just that little bit, which has helped their team kind of set up ends and maybe not chase as much. So Sydney Libis looking to make some really good shots here.
Yeah, I haven't
to set up their end. Yeah,
I haven't been able to keep stats either, but same thing. She stood out quite a bit. I think has been a key part of this game. Same as Michelle throwing the last stone. She has been throwing quite well and has made a lot of shots. So this Hartwell team is going to be a tough team going through the week.
Lisa Miller looking to throw her first stone as Team Hartwell's third to eliminate that back yellow from potential of scoring. Ashley Kalk working that rock over to try and potentially stick that shooter closer to the center line. Michelle looking to take it right out of play so that there's nothing to freeze on for Team Booth. She gets it out of the house, but not quite out of that freezing potential.
And see, that's a really good learning opportunity for any juniors or any less experienced players that are watching this game. You might be wondering that it's your own stone. Why are you sweeping it out of the house? But in this situation, the more stones, the better for Team Booth here. So by eliminating any stones for, like you said, freezing opportunities or for any backing, you're really ensuring that you're not going to be giving up a big score.
And Team Booth just nicking their corner guard there to try and get around, but it does roll in the house, which will help them hopefully in the long run. But Michelle Hartwell looking to make quick work of that rock as well and eliminate it from play to get closer to that goal. And as you might see, the other thing I'd like to mention is you might have seen that Curling Alberta umpire official walking on the sideboards there. The umpires, they spend all week here, and they're here all day long. So it's super appreciative that they're truly the biggest fans in the game. They're volunteers, and they volunteer to officiate and make sure that the games are done well under the fair play and sportsmanship of the game. So thank you to all the umpires that are volunteering this week and providing such great officiating and support to all of the athletes out there.
So 10-8.
Yeah, it goes without saying that volunteers are so important to events like this, and I highly urge anyone that loves curling or loves helping out, if you see an event in your area, feel free to go and volunteer. The more the merrier it is when it comes to volunteers.
I always say you get the best seat in the house as a volunteer, so it's kind of a unique experience where you get to watch some really good curling at the front of the house. Team Booth with a really great shot there. Like, maybe not so much like the outcome they wanted, but it was well executed in the sense where it's kind of undercover. It's hard for Hartwell to access, and it's shot stone. So
Yeah, it goes to show the point that I said about how the more rocks isn't always the better. Sometimes they can hurt you because that Team Booth stone is kind of protected in there. It's going to be hard for them to get it out.
now keep in mind, as you can see on your screen, the both teams are running at about 3 minutes and 30 seconds for their time clocks remaining for their thinking time, with 2 shots remaining for Hartwell, and I think 2 shots as well for Booth. So Booth needs this rock to score. So Michelle Hartwell just looking to make it go away. And if she can do that, she'll move on to play Kayla Skrillex, the number 1 seed in the A quarter.
And the other benefit is I believe both teams still have a timeout left, don't they?
You bet.
So lots of time here for the last few shots.
Exactly. And I think Michelle's just taking her time, making sure she can get this right. If she can end the game now, I think
I like this.
she'd be pretty happy with that.
While we're waiting for this shot, I also want to point out that if there's anyone joining us late and they would have liked to see the start of this game, that after the live stream, all of the whole stream is saved to the Curling Alberta YouTube page. You can go back and watch replays on any games here this week at the provincials or any games at any other provincials that have happened in the past.
Okay. Nine. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Michelle Hartwell with her
Close.
first stone, looking to make
Hard.
quick work
Hard,
of this
Tori.
yellow rock and potentially end this game here now. And they do. Hartwell
Get out of the way.
gets the last rock and will end this game
Good game.
successfully. Handshakes.
Yeah.
Team Booth
Good game.
shaking hands with Hartwell now, and that will put Hartwell into the A quarters against Team Kayla Skrillex, the number 1 seed in our event.
Good game.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to watch our stream today. My name's Justice Jakes, and I've been joined by Rhett Malou from the Rimbey curling facility that is hosting the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championship presented by Sentinel Storage. There's lots of more games to come, so I'd encourage you all to check out the Curling Alberta website to look at the live scores as the rest of the games finish up. And from all of us here at Curling Alberta, thank you for watching our stream and joining us today. And Red, it's been a great time commentating with you.
Yes, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting pretty much a front seat to this great curling, and I can't wait to see how the week turns out.
And I'd probably say the moment of the game for the commentary, I guess the athletes, was that key Tori Hartwell hit and roll. That was a big shot for her, and it was such a simple shot that led to a big moment of 2. So, or a big score of 2. So really great for her and her team, and well played by the Hartwell team. So best of luck to both the Booth and Hartwell teams moving forward into the event, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of our event.